UFOs, Bigfoot, Puckwudgies. Where can you find them all in the same place? Stick around and we'll talk about it. Deep in the heart of Massachusetts lies a mysterious region, one that's steeped in folklore, strange sightings, and eerie encounters. From ghostly apparitions and UFOs to mysterious creatures lurking in the woods, the stories here defy logic and chill your spine. Is it a hotspot of supernatural activity or something even more extremely strange? The Bridgewater Triangle, located in southeastern Massachusetts, has earned a reputation as one of the most mysterious and paranormally charged regions in the United States. Covering roughly 200 square miles, the area is defined by its 3 points: Abington to the north, Rehoboth to the west, and Freetown to the south. Within this triangular boundary lies an array of supernatural phenomena, historical mysteries, and eerie occurrences that have baffled researchers, locals, and visitors for decades. The triangle encompasses numerous towns, including Taunton, Brockton, Raynham, and Fall River. At its heart is the Hockomock Swamp, a 17,000-acre wetland steeped in mystery and Native American lore. The swamp's name, derived from the Algonquin word meaning place where spirits dwell, hints at its spiritual significance to indigenous peoples. The Wampanoag tribe believed the area to be sacred, and it served as a key site for rituals and burials. The region's history is also marked by violence. King Philip's War, one of the nation's bloodiest conflicts between Native Americans and European settlers, unfolded in and around this area. The lingering trauma of this conflict, combined with the desecration of Native American burial grounds, is often cited as a potential catalyst for the paranormal activity reported here. One of the most famous UFO sightings in the Bridgewater Triangle occurred in 1976. Several witnesses reported seeing a large, glowing red object hovering over Route 44 near Taunton. Descriptions of the object varied slightly, but most witnesses agreed that it was a spherical or disc-shaped craft that emitted a pulsating red light. Local residents described the object as moving slowly and silently, with some claiming that it seemed to observe the area before disappearing into the night sky. Drivers pulled off the road to watch the object, and at least one person claimed that their car's electronics malfunctioned briefly as the craft passed overhead. In 1979, 2 reporters from WHDH-TV in Boston were traveling through the Bridgewater Triangle when they witnessed a bizarre aerial phenomenon. While driving near the Hockomock Swamp, the journalist observed a massive pulsating ball of light in the night sky. The object hovered silently, shifting colors between red, blue, and white before darting off at incredible speed. They described the sighting in detail during a televised broadcast, lending credibility to the account. Interestingly, local residents came forward after the report aired to confirm that they had seen similar lights in the sky on the same night. The Hockomock Swamp has been a hotspot for UFO activity. Many sightings involve glowing orbs of light that seem to hover over the swamp. Witnesses often describe these lights as changing colors and moving in patterns that defy conventional aircraft behavior. Residents near the swamp have reported seeing orbs appear regularly at dusk. These lights are said to hover for minutes before suddenly disappearing or shooting off at unnatural speeds. In one case, a hunter in the swamp claimed to have seen a metallic disc-shaped craft partially obscured by the trees. The craft emitted a low humming sound and had lights around its perimeter. In 1994, patrons at the Raynham-Taunton dog track witnessed a group of bright lights hovering in formation over the racetrack. Described as intensely bright, the lights moved silently across the sky in a triangular pattern. Dozens of witnesses reported the sighting, and some even attempted to photograph the phenomenon. One witness, a retired Air Force pilot, stated that the lights were unlike anything he had ever seen in his career. He described the formation as precise and the lights' movements as being too coordinated for any known aircraft. In the early 2000s, a resident of Easton, Mass. Reported an encounter with a large V-shaped craft that passed silently over their neighborhood. The craft had a series of white lights along its edges and seemed to block out the stars as it moved overhead. The witness described feeling a sense of awe and fear as the object glided silently into the distance. The sighting occurred late at night, and the witness's account was corroborated by a neighbor who had been stargazing at the time. Both individuals reported that the craft moved at an impossibly slow speed for something of its size, ruling out conventional aircraft. Pilots flying in and out of Taunton Municipal Airport have reported unexplained aerial phenomena over the years. These include bright lights that seem to follow planes during takeoff or landing. In one instance, a private pilot claimed that a glowing orb appeared to escort their plane for several miles before vanishing without a trace. Airport officials have investigated some of these incidents, but have yet to find an explanation. Some speculate that the lights could be related to atmospheric conditions or military aircraft, but no definitive answers have been provided. Reports of UFOs continue to this day, with many witnesses sharing their stories on social media and paranormal forums. Some researchers believe that the Bridgewater Triangle's unique geological and electromagnetic properties could play a role in attracting or enabling these phenomena. The Bridgewater Triangle is home to a wide range of cryptid sightings, making it one of the most fascinating regions for those interested in the unexplained. From Bigfoot-like creatures to the mischievous puckwudgies, the area has generated numerous reports over the years. The Hockomock Swamp is frequently reported as a hotspot for sightings of large, bipedal, ape-like creatures resembling Bigfoot. Witnesses often describe the creature as standing between 7 and 8 feet tall, covered in dark fur, and emitting a foul odor. In the 1970s, reports of a giant monkey near the swamp gained media attention. One local farmer claimed to have seen the creature wandering through his field, describing it as a massive hairy figure with glowing red eyes. Around the same time, a group of teenagers camping near the swamp claimed to hear deep guttural growls and loud footsteps circling their campsite at night. Although they didn't see the creature directly, they discovered large footprints the following morning. In that same decade, a local police officer, whose name has not been widely disclosed, was patrolling a remote stretch of road late at night when an encounter took place. The officer noticed movement near the edge of the road. Initially thinking it might be a deer or another animal, he slowed his vehicle to get a better look. To his shock, he saw a massive bipedal creature covered in dark, matted hair emerge from the shadows. The creature was described as being at least 7 feet tall, with broad shoulders and glowing eyes that reflected in his headlights. As the officer sat frozen in his vehicle, the creature reportedly approached. Without hesitation, it placed its large, hairy hands on the hood of the car and began to lift the front end off the ground. The officer later described the strength of the creature as inhuman, stating that the front wheels of the vehicle were completely off the ground. In a panic, the officer activated his siren and flashed his headlights in an attempt to scare the creature away. After a few moments, it dropped the vehicle, let out a guttural growl, and retreated into the dense swamp. Shaken but unharmed, the officer quickly left the area and reported the incident to his colleagues. In 1983, a resident of Freetown, located within the triangle, reported seeing a tall, hairy figure near the edge of the Freetown Fall River State Forest. The witness, who was out walking their dog, described the creature as standing about 8 feet tall with a muscular build. It was covered in dark brown hair and had long arms that reached almost to its knees. The creature appeared to be observing the witness from behind a tree before walking off into the woods. The witness found broken tree branches and what appeared to be large footprints in the area the next day. They described the footprints as being around 15 inches long and unusually wide, with 5 distinct toes. 2 hikers exploring the swamp in the early 1990s reported a chilling encounter with a creature resembling Bigfoot. As they trekked through the swamp, they heard loud snapping noises, as if something was breaking large branches nearby. Suddenly, a large hairy creature emerged from the trees about 50 feet away. The hikers described the creature as standing between 7 and 8 feet tall, with broad shoulders and long arms. It reportedly stared at them for several seconds before disappearing back into the dense foliage. The hikers, terrified, quickly left the area. They later reported their encounter to local authorities, who dismissed the event as a possible bear sighting. However, the hikers insisted that the creature's upright posture and human-like features ruled out a bear. One of the most chilling modern Bigfoot sightings occurred in the Freetown Fall River State Forest in the early 2000s. A local couple hiking through the forest reported seeing a large dark figure standing partially hidden near a tree. They initially thought it was another hiker, but as they got closer, they realized it was much larger than a human. The creature reportedly let out a loud grunt before walking deeper into the woods. The couple found broken tree branches and unusual tracks in the area. They described the footprints they found as being deep and measuring over 14 inches long. A recurring phenomenon associated with Bigfoot sightings in the triangle is the throwing of rocks or small objects at witnesses. Fishermen, hikers, and hunters in the Hockomock Swamp have often reported having rocks hurled at them from an unseen source. These incidents are usually accompanied by rustling noises, loud knocks on trees, and occasionally deep growls. Cryptozoologists suggest that this behavior might be an intimidation tactic used by the creature to scare off intruders. In addition to visual sightings, many residents and visitors to the swamp have reported hearing strange vocalizations at night. These sounds are often described as deep guttural howls or whoops, similar to those reported in other Bigfoot hotspots across the United States. The Pukwudgie is one of the most famous cryptids tied to the Bridgewater Triangle, with its origins deeply rooted in Wampanoag folklore. These creatures are described as small, mischievous, and sometimes malevolent beings that dwell in forests, especially in areas like the Freetown Fall River State Forest within the Triangle. The Pukwudgie has its roots in Native American folklore, particularly among the Wampanoag tribe, who believed these creatures were once friendly to humans, but grew hostile after feeling disrespected. Pukwudgies are described as small, troll-like humanoids, standing between 2 and 3 feet tall. They are said to have grayish or pale skin, large ears, glowing red or yellow eyes, and noses similar to those of a wolf or dog. Their appearance can be unsettling, with some accounts describing them as a mix between a goblin and a miniature human. They are also notorious tricksters. In folklore, they enjoy confusing travelers by leading them astray or mimicking human voices to lure people into danger. When angered, pukwudgies are believed to cause harm, ranging from minor pranks to more serious acts like pushing people off cliffs, attacking with arrows, or setting traps. According to legend, they possess various supernatural abilities, including that to disappear and reappear at will, transform into animals, and control fire. Some even claim they can hypnotize or bewitch their victims. The Freetown Fall River State Forest is one of the most active areas for pukwudgie sightings. Hikers frequently report seeing small, shadowy figures darting between trees or peeking out from behind rocks. These figures vanish almost immediately when approached. Visitors often hear faint childlike laughter or whispers in the forest, even when they are entirely alone. Some witnesses have reported seeing small orbs of light floating through the trees, which they believe are linked to the pukwudgies. These lights are sometimes referred to as will-o'-the-wisp or spirit lights. A man hiking with his dog in the Freetown State Forest in the mid-1990s claimed to encounter a pukwudgie. He saw a small humanoid figure with large ears and glowing red eyes watching him from a ridge. It seemed to be grinning mischievously. When the man shouted at it, the creature vanished into thin air, leaving behind an eerie silence. The man reported feeling a sudden, inexplicable sense of dread and left the forest immediately. As recently as the 2010s, a camper in the Freetown State Forest described waking up to the sound of giggling outside their tent. When they looked out, they saw a small figure scurrying into the trees. Hikers exploring the outskirts of the Hockomock Swamp have reported being led astray by mysterious floating lights, which they later attributed to the pukwudgie's tricks. In Wampanoag tradition, people are often warned against engaging with the pukwudgie. Attempts to befriend or confront them can provoke their anger, leading to dangerous situations. This belief has led many locals to avoid certain areas of the Bridgewater Triangle at night. The Bridgewater Triangle remains one of America's most perplexing paranormal hotspots, a place where history, legend, and the unexplained intersect. From shadowy figures in the woods to strange lights in the sky, the stories continue to surface, leaving more questions than answers. And those questions might even result in more in part 2 of Mysteries of the Bridgewater Triangle.